Hey folks, I'm Holly.
And I'm Kristy.
And this is Holly and Kristy Unscripted for today is Good Friday, April 10th. Doesn't feel like Good Friday. Doesn't feel like anything.
No.
Doesn't feel like any day of the week at all.
Feels like every day.
Exactly. It feels like a blur. Except that everything's closed today and you couldn't go grocery shopping if you wanted to. That's it.
Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing. Forcing everybody to stay home. We were just saying a minute ago too, we all got those alerts right now saying, they didn't say anything specifically like, complete lockdown, but it was definitely headed more in that direction. A little bit more direct.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised that we're not there yet.
Yeah, I know.
After the first time he said, stay the blazes home.
Yeah.
I expected him to be like, nope, we're shutting it down. That's it. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Yeah. But I think the police ticketing people, they're probably hoping that kind of makes people stay home. They don't want to do a complete shutdown.
Somebody got like $5,000, a fine of $5,000, didn't they? I think so.
I don't know. I haven't heard amounts.
I heard, well, in Halifax, they're ticketing people for like $6.75, or that was what I last heard, for being like in Point Pleasant Park and stuff. And then there were those 3 people who didn't quarantine after coming across the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border.
Right.
And I think it was one of them got $5,000.
Wow.
Crazy.
They must have gotten ticketed maybe once and then weren't listening, and then
maybe. And I did see on Facebook that they had been ticketed, and then the very next day they came back and this person overheard them talking about it in line at the store.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that there's some parties that they've had to break up and ticket people for. There was someone just last night that was posting on Facebook saying there was a party down the street and they heard the cops there saying that they were in violation of public health safety.
I've heard cops go by a few times here, but even just last night, someone was having a party.
Yeah.
Like you think, how?
And that was down like Copp Avenue.
Okay. Wow.
Down that way.
I mean, I tend to think I'm pretty invincible, but I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
Like you don't think it's going to affect you, but wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, so
anyway,
we decided that we don't want to talk about COVID today for this because it's all anybody's talking about. Although I'm sure it'll come up over and over because we're going to talk about TV shows. And right now, that's pretty much all that a lot of people are doing is watching TV shows. I know you're not watching a lot of TV, I can't imagine, with 3 kids and work going on.
In the evenings we are.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we, I have a show that I've been watching. It's an older one that I never watched when it was on, but people liked it.
What is it?
And then I kind of watched it here and there. And then I just, like, every night when I go to bed, I watch it for an hour or so. And Kirby's been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's her new obsession.
It's kind of funny. I've only seen a couple episodes of it, but it's kind of
good.
Yeah.
And then Alex and Avery really like Community, so we started watching that too.
What is Community? The community college. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me of one. There's one called, I think it's called Love. I think that's what it's called. And it's got the actress from Community, the blonde one.
Oh, okay.
And she is the main character in this show. It's on Netflix, and it's pretty funny. It's like she's pretty wild and really a loner, parties a lot, is kind of like pretty out there. She's got a lot of attitude and stuff. And she meets this guy who's super conservative, nerdy, like complete polar opposites. And it just sort of shows their relationship, and they do fall in love.
Okay.
But it's good because she stays, I like it because she stays crazy the whole time. You know what I mean? Like she's kind of a nut, and yeah. So anyways, it's that same actress. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought of something while you were talking. Now I can't remember what it was.
Something about being crazy?
Maybe.
Yeah. Makes me think of a lot of things myself, but so what's the show that you're watching every night right now?
So right now I'm watching How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really? I don't know why I just said it like that. I've never watched it.
Really?
Really? Well, I've never watched it, and I've heard that it's like super popular and people really love it.
But
I feel like I got out of the sitcom genre and never really got back into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how is it? You must like it if you're watching it every day.
It's good. It's I don't like, I'm not obsessed with it. I don't have to watch it kind of thing. And it's like every episode doesn't really, like, you can watch an individual episode. You don't have to watch every episode leading up to it to really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I can pick it up and leave it and whatever. I don't have to watch it every single day or watch it in order or whatever, which is good. I like that. But it's funny. It's entertaining. I like, I don't know her name in real life, but she was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. She played Willow. She's in this too. And I really like her character. Like, she's really quirky and kind of weird. So she's entertaining. She's my favorite part of the show.
Okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah.
That's got Doogie Howser. What's his name?
Yes.
Yeah. What's his name? He's really funny, actually.
He is. Yeah, he's really good in the show. I can't think of his name right now.
I wonder if he cares that's the first thing people think of if they can't remember his name. I wonder if that would bother him.
I don't know.
That people think,
Neil Patrick Harris.
There you go. Yeah. He strikes me as someone who wouldn't really mind.
I don't think so.
Pretty laid back.
Yeah. No, he's pretty self-confident, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I got on a kick of watching on YouTube. There's Vogue, I think it is, does 73 questions with Vogue.
Okay.
So they come to celebrities' houses and they ask them 73 questions, like, right in a row. And I'm sure that, like, it's well rehearsed. So they probably send the questions ahead of time, and the actors act like they're like, I don't really know.
Right.
But they already know the answers. Like, they do it with Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift. And
is it always the same questions, or do they come up with different questions for each person?
No, they're all different. So they go into their... What's that?
I would like someone to do that. I think we should do that in the community. Well, we can't right now, but like, just go around and do like funny little interviews, 73 questions.
That would be fun.
I bet people would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, probably.
You have to be honest.
Yeah.
I bet people would like that.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, we should. That would be
especially
fun.
Right now, like just a little window into each other's weird little lives,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could invite somebody on a Zoom call.
Yeah. Yeah, we could like alternate. You ask one question, we just sort of hit them back and forth.
Yeah.
That's an idea. Yeah, that's an idea. We might want to think about that. Anyone who's watching, what do you think? And would you like to be a participant?
We need volunteers, people.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So
we kind of have to know a little bit about them ahead of time so we could dig into like some of their weirdness and make them answer questions that might be uncomfortable. I think that would be a
but not too uncomfortable.
No, not too uncomfortable, but a little weird.
Just
yeah, just a little bit. Just enough to show like a little bit of the inner layer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to start with one of yours?
Yeah, I'm going to start with the obvious right now. The one that everybody is talking about, to the point that it's like kind of almost annoying right now, which is Tiger King. Have you watched it?
We watched one episode and we were kind of like...
Alex, or did the kids watch it too?
No, Alex and I. And we didn't really understand the hype.
Yeah.
And then Alex has watched... Bless you. What have you seen? 3 episodes?
I watched it all.
Oh, you watched the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And he was saying that it gets better.
How many are there? Episodes?
6.
Okay,
gotcha.
Yeah. So I've only watched the first one, but I get what happens because everybody's posting memes all the time and everybody's talking about it. So I don't have to watch the show.
Don't have to, no. So I watched the first one, and the first one I felt kind of the same as you. I didn't get the hype, like it didn't grab me a lot at first, but I figured by the fact that there's so much hype around it, that it must get more interesting. So I watched the second one. And the second one, I was like, wow, this is really messed up. And I enjoyed that. And they didn't show a lot about the animals. And third one, I think I felt the same way, like kind of still this like weird, sick interest in these weird people's lives. And I noticed, I started watching the fourth one last night, and I remarked to myself that they hadn't really been showing much about the animals themselves. I mean, you saw them in the cages, and you saw, a lot of the cub petting and stuff like that. But I was like, they're not showing a lot. And I was grateful for it. And then I thought, well, I'm sure that's intentional, because they wouldn't get much viewing if they did show a lot of that, although they still probably quite a bit. But after the fourth one, I'm done. I won't watch anymore. I can't. There was, so spoiler alert. Do you think we can do this? Can I go ahead and talk openly about what I saw in the fourth episode?
I'm sure you can. We can put a little warning saying spoiler alert for shows.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll mark the time, because this is at about 11:50 is the timestamp that we're starting to talk about spoilers on Tiger King. But so, and it's not really that major. But there's one point where a tiger is having cubs, and things have already gotten pretty gross at this point in terms of the cub petting really, really bothered me, right? Like anything about the cubs especially bothered me. So at one point, this tiger, she's having a litter, and all you hear is the guy's voice saying, get her ass, because they want to show her having the cub. But the way they were saying it was just so like, and so then there's this little cub like a foot away from her or his mother, and hasn't had a chance to nurse yet, hasn't even made contact with the mother yet. And they take a stick, because they're outside of the cage and she's in this little hut, and they take a stick and they prod and pull until they get the cub out of the hut. And then they pull it across the ground underneath the cage. And it's like, there's not much room between the ground and the cage. And so they're yanking this thing underneath the metal cage. There's no nurturing, there's no nothing. They just hold her up and check what her sex is. And then later they show the litter, like, I don't know, 3-5 cubs maybe, in this little playpen inside the house, and they're all crying, and he's complaining that they're making so much noise he has to go into the other room. And I just like, no, that's it for me. I couldn't watch anymore. And I won't watch anymore after that, because and then they show like there's tons of tigers in this cage, and they're talking about how they don't have enough food to feed them, and they're all running around, and they're all like ravenous, and just sort of like, oh, it's just heartbreaking. I understand why people are kind of like morbidly drawn to the nonsense, like the ridiculousness of how these people live their lives, but I found it really disturbing. So
yeah, and that was the Tiger King you were talking about, not the other ones.
They're all the same. You don't see, well, I didn't see, and maybe it shows those in the last 2 episodes, I don't know, but I didn't see anything specifically like that with the other 2, but you kind of, they're all pretty sick in my opinion, and but yeah, that was specifically the Tiger King. But
I thought it was interesting. Like, one thing that I did see was, I think it was Carol Baskin was saying that she can feed a tiger for $30,000 a year or something. I'm just kind of pulling numbers. And then the Joe Exotic was saying that he could feed a tiger for 10. I'm like, that's a big difference.